Have you ever sat on the sidelines for fear that if you actually played in the game, you'd just mess up? Or just sat out altogether for fear that you'd make a fool of yourself if you actually played? I grew up Catholic. My family and I went to Mass pretty much every Sunday, and we prayed together before meals at night. But that was basically my understanding of what it meant to be a Catholic. As I started to get more involved, I would, go to youth group, go to conferences in high school. I started to understand that actually what it meant to be Catholic was like to be perfect, that like only the elite could like attain this level of perfectionism, and that's just what it meant, and that's what you had to do. And so I wanted to get it all together. I strived and I got good marks in school. I had a good job. I had good friends. I even had a boyfriend. Life was good. But I went off to university and was still, pretty happy. But I decided that actually what I was studying I didn't really like. So I dropped out. And about a year later, my boyfriend and I broke up. And so everything that I thought I had worked so hard for, to maintain this image of me having it all together, came kind of crashing down. And I turned not to Jesus, but to other things. I started to live for the weekends. I was very much involved in the party lifestyle, and started to be involved in more impure and unhealthy relationships. I struggled with pornography and masturbation, and so there was a lot of things that I was doing in life that was keeping me far from God. I wasn't feeling full or satisfied, but I figured that actually the life I was living was it. Like, it just meant I didn't attain this level of perfectionism, and so this is what I was meant to do. This was fine. I decided to go to Trent a year later and study nursing. In my first year, I just kind of lived the life of a university student. In my second year, though, I decided I could go to Mass on campus. I knew there was a Catholic club, and so I could just go see who it was. If it was a bunch of weirdos, I'd never had to go back. And so that's what I did. And I went and I met some people, and yes, there was weirdos there, but there was also some pretty normal people. The priest there was really awesome. I loved him. And a couple weeks later, one of the students had said to me, Erika, we're starting to run these faith studies on campus. Like, would you like to be involved? They're just an hour a week. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I can spare an hour a week. That sounds fine. And so I started to go through faith studies, started to learn a little bit more about what it meant to be Catholic, but not much in my life had changed. I wasn't willing to let Jesus into my heart, and I just kept him at a distance. Then into my third year, we were having a prayer night. The missionaries on our campus had invited me to be a greeter. And so I knew from that invitation that not only was I welcome, but I was actually wanted there. And so I went. The challenge for our faith study that week was to go to confession, and I knew I had to go, but I didn't want to. I knew that I would have to confess many of the same sins that I had struggled with before, and I didn't really want to have to do that. But as soon as I was there and had the opportunity, I did go to confession. I told the priest everything, and he told me that, actually, not everything's going to change all at once, but you don't have to be perfect. It's not about you being perfect, because, Jesus died for your sins. And I went back to my pew, and I was overcome with emotion. I didn't really know what to do. And in that moment, not only did I realize how much Jesus loved me, and I made that commitment to invite him to be at the center of my life, but actually, if Jesus loved me this much, he loved everyone this much, and I needed to do something about it. And I wasn't sure what that was. I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew that I had to do something. Fast forward to a couple months later, and one of the missionaries had asked me if I would lead a faith study on campus. I was like, I just really met Jesus a couple months ago personally. I don't think so. And she was like, I'll help you. We can walk through it. You'll be supported. It'll be okay. And so I did. I said yes. And I started leading my roommates through a faith study. I got to accompany some of them back to confession for the first time in years, and it was just a beautiful experience. And after that, I went home for my 4th year. I was in nursing and I could do my placements at home, so I figured I might as well do that. And I figured that God just wanted to use me to help my patients. I could help them, pray with them, bring them to know Jesus, and that would be okay. That would be my kind of job. But I also felt this tug to be a CCO missionary, and I wasn't sure. I didn't really care either way. I was happy wherever God wanted me to go, but I just needed him to tell me. And so that summer, I was at a Steubenville Youth Conference and just sitting in adoration praying. And I said, God, where do you want me to go? I really don't care. Just can you tell me? And this image came to me of me laying on my deathbed. I had been nursing for a year and I was laying there dying. And Jesus kind of walked into the room and he looked at me and he was like, Erika, have you done what I asked? And I was like, thought about it a little bit and realized that no, I wouldn't have. If I nursed for a year and died, I would have been doing not what Jesus asked of me, to be a missionary, and I was just too scared to do it. And so over the next few months, I went through the process of applying to CCO. I got hired and now I work for them. I've been at Trent for a year, and it's just been beautiful to be able to see what the Lord is doing on our campus, on the campus that I encountered Jesus for the first time. And yeah, just being able to walk with students as they come to know Jesus. Students who come back to confession, come back to Mass, people who have never even really encountered God or thought much about God, and being able to, letting the Lord use me to be able to do that. And how Jesus has just stretched my own heart as well, helping to grow me into the saint that he is calling me to be, but also just as I grow my heart and let him in a little bit more every single day, he keeps doing it. He's the best. And so, I just invite you that if you've never invited Jesus to be at the center of your life, that you would take the opportunity to do that. That's where he desires to be, and he loves you just as you are. And that if you're feeling scared, just don't worry about those feelings. Wherever God's calling you to be his missionary disciple, his plan is the best plan for you, and I can speak to that absolutely. We don't always know what that might look like, but just to give him our hearts and be able to let him in, let him guide us, and that he, has a good plan for our lives, a better plan than anything we could dream of or imagine. So, thank you.